Hello once again. Good day and good life to you. Big subject today, and that would be the subject of the Big Bang, which is a bit of a misinterpretation. It sort of presumes that the universe had a beginning, and that is not really the case. That is an implication or a presumption. Really, within the concept of infinity, there is no beginning and ending. There is just isness or existence. But, it is an interpretation based on certain observations, and I'll explain why people are interpreting things that way. In a sense, you could say that there was more an implosion of consciousness and everything sort of divided within itself, and is still doing that in a sense. That's where life and change and all that comes from. But there's still unity. That's why they call it universe. Everything is the same one thing, just projected and reflected every different way that it can be. So, but the concept of a Big Bang could be interpreted as expanding awareness, infinitely expanding consciousness. So that's really what people are observing. You'll find a lot of scientists talk about redshift as their evidence. Notice how red is at the very base of the visible light spectrum, the very lowest level. This is sort of a clue. They're noticing that from the very basic level of consciousness, they are expanding outward. And that's what everything is really doing. As you grow and learn, your consciousness is ever expanding. So that's really what they're interpreting as an expansion. Because if you'll notice, if there was in fact a Big Bang and everything was flying apart so quickly, then why aren't all of the planets and the sun and the galaxies, why are we still relatively the same distance from the sun and the moon and the other planets in this solar system? Wouldn't they all be flying apart very quickly, when that's not really the case? So everything is really spinning, vibrating, in every different configuration and frequency. So that's really what's happening. There are other scientists who are aware of this. It's just not as mainstream. But as you'll notice, all these other theories, that's why they call it a theory, by the way, because it's not really provable. You can't really prove something that isn't true. But again, these are just observations based on limited information and perspective technology. So it could more readily be called an infinite implosion as opposed to a Big Bang, which is sort of a violent interpretation. But really, the universe is the same size in a sense. It's just constantly dividing, shifting, changing, growing, learning, expanding in a sense, just in a sense of consciousness and awareness. So no need to get mad or anything. This is how it works. This is, you're constantly learning and growing and outgrowing old ideas, learning new ones. So this really doesn't need to be a very long video. As a very famous scientist, Einstein, said, if you can't state it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So really, it's as simple as that. Big Bang is sort of a misinterpretation, but it'll take some time for the general scientific community to accept that and recognize that. But eventually that's what will happen. It can be a bit challenging discussing ideas like this, which are so massive, when we're using language which is sort of limited in its expression and interpretations, but doing the best I can with what I have. So I hope this clarifies things for some people. I know it will, because it has for me. There will be many more discoveries to come that will rewrite the way people see things, and we'll be getting into more of those in the future. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this and for liking and subscribing and sharing it with others if you choose to do so. And until next time, hope you got a bang out of this.